Okay, welcome everyone. So we had three games today, Sunday, into the 4th of July weekend, and we had the Liberty and the Storm. Boy, this was a good game. And have a first half Sabrina Ionescu. But then it was like, that was it. I, and Seattle was right with them. It was a neck and, just back and forth game. But Sabrina was hitting her threes. She was making great passes. Cloud was chipping in. Stewie was getting a couple here and there. I think Stewie's tired because, that long road trip, Ionescu was like in a slump, and Stewie was really having to carry them. And, now all of a sudden Ionescu's back up and running, and she's hitting her shots, at least for the first half. But then in the second half, like this game was won by Seattle in the third quarter. The Leone Fevich, when I was in college, I played with a teammate who would want to do those stupid cross-court passes. You're on the wing, just pass it up to the top of the key to the guard instead of trying to... She did 3 of those in a row. And they got intercepted and easy baskets for Seattle. And all of a sudden they're up, a 1-point game. All of a sudden they're up 9 points. And then New York never recovered. And then I think they scored 6 points in the third quarter. Ionescu was on the bench for part of that time. And then, and then they put Molonga in the game, the 6'6" rookie, and they fed her, and she hit shots, and it went from virtually a 1-point game. You add in those 3 cross-court passes. I think they were back to back to back. There might have been one possession in the middle there, but they were all in a row, it seemed like. And then they hit Molonga. All of a sudden, they have a 19-point lead going into the fourth quarter, or right at the beginning of the fourth quarter. So then New York made a push, but they just didn't have enough to come back from that. And Seattle held on, and they played, they didn't turn the ball over. They didn't shoot tremendously, but they got enough that no matter what New York did, and then Sabrina, I don't know, well, I'm going to look at their stats, but, she wasn't hitting those threes like she was in the first half. So let's have a look at the stats here. Yeah, New York, 6 points in the third quarter, and Seattle had 22. There was the game. It was at one point a 19-point lead. So first quarter, Seattle up 22-18. Then New York comes back. They're 26-19 in the second, and then they just I don't know what happened to them in the third quarter, but it was bad. And then New York outscored them a little bit in the fourth, 20-16. And so Seattle comes away with the win, 79-70. And this was New York's first home loss. They've been undefeated at home. Yeah, let's see. 19-point, that was the biggest lead. Yeah. Let's see. New York had 17 turnovers. Yeah, that's not gonna bode well whether you're home or away. So Seattle, they got contributions from a lot of people. They had 5 people in double figures. Gabby Williams had 16. She had 3 steals. 2 of those Phoebus passes were Gabby Williams grabbing those. She shot 7 for 13 from the floor. She was 2 for 4 from the 3-point range. She's been in kind of a slump because she's a really good player, and she's been in a slump lately, but today was a good game for her. Nneka, same thing, 7 for 13. The exact same thing, 15 points. Both Gabby and Nneka had 7 rebounds. Izzy Magallagor, 14 points, 5 rebounds. And Gabby Williams and Nneka both had 5 assists and 4 assists. So good all-around game from them. Erica Wheeler had 5 points. She was 2 for 9. She didn't shoot well this game. But, she held on to the ball. She was handling the ball most of the time, and she did good there. She didn't, let's see. She had 3 personal fouls and 2 turnovers. I didn't even notice her get a turnover. That's weird. Anyway, Skylar Diggins had 13 points. She was 5 for 15. That's not great. But fortunately, her teammates, this was a just good all-around game from Seattle. She had 6 assists. Skylar had 4 turnovers. Alicia Clark had 5 points. In the first half, Alicia Clark is the oldest player in this league. And she did some things, and it really made me think about Vegas and how, she was a real key, like, 6-person. Her and Tiffany Hayes were basically 6-person off the bench. And, she made a couple of plays in the first half that, it wasn't like scoring, or I think she hit a 3 during that time, but she just made some key defensive things, and it was like, it made me think about what Vegas has been missing. And, her solid play off the bench, that's something that they're missing, and Seattle now has. So she had 5 rebounds also, 2 steals, and she had a block too. So, and then Molonga had 11 points, and those, I think every single one of those came in like a 2-minute flurry in the third quarter. And she had 8 rebounds. And that was pretty much it for Seattle. So overall, they shot 45%. From 3, they weren't that good. It was 29%. But, they had that flurry there that just gave them the game. So Sabrina, she had 20 points at halftime. She only got 2 more points. And they might have been from the foul line. So she had 22 points. Natasha Cloud had 12. Everybody else was like... highest scorer after that was 8. That was Stewie had 8. Rebecca Garner had 8. Sably had 6. Markeisha Davis got a hoop right at the end of the game and a foul shot. Kennedy Burke only had 4. She's been lighting it up from 3, and she just didn't do it. Phoebish had 7 points, but she had those 5 turnovers. 3 assists, 5 rebounds. It wasn't a good game for Phoebish. Seems like a lot of the players that have come back from Eurobasket, they're just not, they don't have their feet under them yet. So New York shot 35% from the floor, 17 turnovers. They out-rebounded them by 1, 37% from 3. Yeah, it's not going to win you games. I mean, it's surprising that it was this close. That third quarter just killed New York. But, every team has games like this. They just do. And it's, out of 44 games, if you only have 1 or 2 of these types of games, you're in good shape. But we'll see. We'll see what happens next game. And, Stewie looks tired. She's been carrying the load for them. So, hopefully she'll get some rest, or she'll just get some help. When Jonquil Jones is in there, she doesn't have to carry the load as much. Not that, Cloud and Ionescu don't, but down low. I mean, she's having to deal with Molonga, who's 6'6", Ezzy Maglagor, who's 6'4" or 6'5", and then NECA. I mean, that's a lot to deal with for one person. She wasn't getting a whole lot of help. And that gets tiring after a while. So, anyway, congratulations, Seattle Storm. They are now, let's see what they are now 12-7, and New York is 12-6. So things are starting to tighten up. Definitely starting to tighten up. Okay, we'll see you next time.